The Order 1886. Right from the get-go, this game grabbed my attention for a multitude of reasons. The setting, the steampunky design, the tense, eerie creepiness, but most of all, the controversy. Now, anyone that's been involved in the gaming industry for long enough knows that controversy is pretty par for the course. I don't know if people still say that nowadays. People still say par for the course? It sounded good in the script, but now that I've said it out loud, it doesn't really sound like something I would naturally say. I don't even know if that phrase even made sense in the context that I used it in. Does it make sense? I'm gonna Google it. What does par for the course even mean? But the backlash this game had was pretty crazy. It's 5 hours long, there's no gameplay, it's generic and repetitive. Other things. Even some of my friends who outright refused to get the game were still there on Facebook shouting about how terrible it is, even though they'd never actually played it at all. But in situations like this, I like to remain optimistic. I mean, after all, I've played more 3-hour games that have ended up being more worthwhile to me than some 12-hour games. But then again, those 3-hour games don't cost 50 quid, so I guess there's a few different ways of looking at it. Either way, let's take a look at the Order 1886 and find out just how valid those complaints are. The Order 1886 centers around, well, the Order. The clue's kind of in the name, really. The game mostly revolves around a bunch of guys named after King Arthur's Knights of the Round Table, or something. I at least know some of them are named after King Arthur people. I couldn't match names to all of them. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a historian. I just play games in my room all day, leave me alone. There's Sir Galahad, Lady Igraine, Marquis de Lafayette, this guy, and even this guy. Bet you can't believe he's in it. What a cameo. I don't know who that is. And I have to say, I like these characters. Granted, there isn't really a single character in the whole game that gets enough screen time other than Galahad, and as a result get little to no development at all, but what's there I like. And although I don't really want to give anything away, as the game purposely shrouds itself in mystery enough as it is, I found the story really interesting. Like I said, there's a lot of mystery to this game. And as you go on, you really begin to feel like you're about to unravel this huge conspiracy that will really affect everything and everyone. And then it ends. Just when it gets to its best, it just ends. Great. Some of the game's most impactful twists happen in the final quarter of the game, and as a result, doesn't really give itself that much time to let the twist affect and develop the story. It just ends, and even then the ending isn't really all that conclusive or satisfying, instead hinting towards more answers in a possible sequel, which I guess will also be another 50 quid. It's just scummy to me. As much as I do like the story, the ending kind of ruins it completely in a way, and it makes it a lot harder to recommend as a result. And then there's the gameplay. Or lack thereof, am I right? Get it? There's no gameplay because it's a film. Actually, there is quite a bit of gameplay, actually, so, you know, the joke doesn't really work all that much. There's no denying that the game is a little more story heavy and cinematic than your average third-person shooter, even sporting those stupid cinematic bars that the Evil Within apparently revolutionised, but there's some pretty lengthy shootout sections in there too. Now, granted, I could have done with more, and that's not to say that there aren't some cutscenes in there that could have been gameplay instead, and that's not to say that there aren't some parts of the game which are essentially a cutscene in disguise, like the part where you've got to find a box in a factory. A really big factory. I don't know where it is. I don't know where the box is. I don't know why I'm doing this. And I can't be bothered anymore. I just want to fight enemies. Why am I searching for a box?
Nothing.
Oh great, it's not here either, brilliant. Saying that though, the actual shooty gunfight gameplay is pretty damn solid. Shooting enemies, hiding behind cover, grabbing their loot when they're down, it all feels really damn good. Is it original in any way? Of course it isn't. Chances are you've played this game a million times already with games like Uncharted, Gears of War, Inversion. Whoa, how did I even remember to say Inversion? I haven't thought about that game in like 3 years. Oh my god, that was a weird little flashback I just had there. What a mess that game was. But it does it well and manages to make it fun and sometimes even pretty intense. I just wish there was more of it to be had. To further the whole cinematic film thing even more, the game looks pretty fantastic. It's pretty nice to see another PS4 game that actually commits itself to current gen technology by, you know, separating itself from the PS3 and making itself a PS4 exclusive, because this game looks pretty damn amazing. There was a lot of points where for a split second I actually did forget I was looking at a game. That's how good this game looks. But then again, I remember saying the same thing about Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets when that came out for the PS2, so, you know, maybe it's all relative, I don't know. This is made even better by the game's awesome art direction. Unless I'm just not looking in the right places, I've not seen too many games tackle a steampunky kind of style, which is something I'd always wanted to see. And The Order 1886 does this style really well. Say what you want about the game, but holy crap if I want that art book in my life right now, because I really do like the way this game looks. To say this game's not really gotten that great of a reception, I've been pretty positive on it so far, but that doesn't mean to say that I have no negative things to say either. Actually, I have quite a few. Honestly, when you look at it as a whole, The Order 1886 is a bit of a disappointment. The gameplay, while solid, and while there was still more of it than the internet led me to believe, kinda left me wanting more. The gameplay often took a back seat for the story, meaning that this is one of those games that you could play with your controller mostly on the table, which, although I don't really like to do this when talking about games, I have to compare to films, because that is kind of bad for a game. The story came to a sudden abrupt halt, not because it felt natural to end the story there, but so they could get people hyped for the sequel, which is not good business practice, in my opinion. And I'll admit, the game was pretty short. Here's a clip of me saying some things about the game. Hello everyone, I just got done playing The Order 1886. I'm in my bedroom right now and it's incredibly dark because my bedroom lights don't work, but my lamp is working, so that's good. Anyway, yeah, I just got done playing it right here, right now, and here are the files that I recorded for footage. If I get all of those at once, and look down there, if I focus a bit better, I've been playing for almost 7 hours. That's like 2 hours longer than that guy on the internet said. So that's something. It's still not that long, but it's something, I guess. And like I said, I have no problem with length in a video game. Saying that though, what I do have a problem with is overcharging for that content, and this is 7 hours for 50 quid, which is a little bit too much. And in lieu of it being story driven and cinematic, it's one of those games that often doesn't give you the luxury of choice. You can observe the sights, but not explore them. You can look at them from a distance, as long as you remain on this one specific path that the developers want you to stick to. And on the off chance you see an alternate path, exploration is often not rewarded, often leading to a dead end. Kinda makes you wonder why they bothered in the first place if they didn't want to do anything with it. The AI isn't always helpful, and sometimes just watches you fail to take on an army intended for 2 characters to overtake. Thank you, woman, for all your help today. You really gave it your all, you really knocked it out of the park today. Just sincere. Well, congrats, you're promoted, you know, wow. And on top of that, the final boss is really lame. And like quite a lot of parts in this game, amounts to nothing much more than timed button presses and quick time events. And then the game ends, like I said. That's the main thing that this game leads up to. An uninvolving boss battle made up of quick time events. That's the grand finale to this game. And even worse, it's a boss battle recycled from earlier on in the game. It's not even an original boss battle. At least end the game with a boss fight that isn't recycled, guys. Come on. Overall, The Order 1886 is okay. It has a few big positives, like the story, the characters, the 75% of the gameplay that's actually involving, but a lot of small negatives, which I just now went into. But the way I see it, its only major downfall is the price. Whichever way you look at it, no matter your opinion on the game, there just isn't enough there to justify the price. But when it eventually goes on sale or on offer or in a bundle or something, I would more than likely recommend it. In no way do I regret experiencing the story, taken in the world of 1886's anachronistic London, trying to guess and judge what might happen next. I can't say I didn't enjoy it. Maybe it would have been better as a film or a tech demo or a TV series or something, but for what it really isn't that bad. I mean, who's to say how game heavy or story heavy a game has to be? Just like a film, a game doesn't need to have any kind of agenda. A game can be whatever it wants to be, whatever the story calls for it to be. It's definitely different, but I wouldn't say it's bad different, just different. And sometimes different is enough of a reason for people to go crazy over a game. It definitely does give the impression that this is the first entry to a franchise, and in a lot of ways does this game feel like a prologue to a more gameplay heavy sequel, but either way, I can't wait to return to the world of The Order 1886.